Right, geez, we are in for legs B. I appreciate the sound is pretty loud right now, so I might do a proper intro in a minute. But we're starting off the session with a seated calf raise. So all I do is 2 sets of this at the start of the session, not because I'm trying to prioritise my calves, just because if I do it later on in the session, I'll half-arse it. Still not even finished my pre yet. I think it's because I had a pretty big meal for my pre-workout. I've had like 1,400 calories before 9 AM, but I'm feeling good, I'm feeling full. Anyway, what I was gonna say with the 2 sets on here is that I only do 2 sets just because I feel like if I do too many sets on this, I know I can recover from a lot because it's a small muscle, but I feel like if my calves get too pumped, and it's gonna restrict kind of my ankle mobility, which already isn't great. So when I go into like a leg press or squat variant, I'm gonna struggle to actually create enough knee flexion. So I just do 2 sets. Not really a top set and back off, just 2 high rep sets. Okay. Next movement, we're going to do the standing hamstring curl. So just to get the knee joint nice and warm before we go into the heavy lifts. And what I like about this is because it's unilateral, obviously we're going to iron out any imbalances, but for me, it drives like nowhere near as much fatigue. When I do like a seated leg curl, obviously I don't avoid doing it, I do that on the other session. But a good thing about this is that once I've done my 2 sets, normal top set and back off, I don't feel as smashed up. So yeah, the stimulus to fatigue ratio is pretty good. Half a rep up, we'll take it. Obviously because the loading potential isn't that high, when you add a little bit of weight, obviously you're going to notice that a lot. I stuck with the same weight then and got half a rep up and the set felt better. So, you know, progressive overload isn't just measuring the amount of the weight you're lifting against the reps. You know, there's a lot of things to look at. So just, if your execution's better, you know, I see that as a better set. In terms of execution with this, what I'm thinking about is keeping my hips pretty still so my lower back doesn't do a lot of the work, and really just driving my quad into this pad. That way, obviously, if we're getting more tight, we can produce more force, so we can obviously, you know, get a bit more out of the set. Other than that, you know, there's not much to it. Just take those eccentrics nice and slow, big 1 count at the top. Spend a bit of time, to be honest, at both ends of the rep. That way, you know, you remove momentum out of the set, and that way the muscles are doing the work rather than, you know, just swinging the weight about. And I mentioned this in the last episode when I was training back and biceps, that, you know, when you're doing unilateral movements, start with the weaker side first, take that to failure, and then just match it with your stronger side. I probably should have done half a rep on that one. Well, I don't really know what I should have done on that one, to be honest. You know, do I just not go for it and get half a rep down, or do I go for it and get 10? We're talking fine margins here, but you know what I'm saying, weaker side first. Okay, next exercise. Probably the most uncomfortable, not pain, but discomfort you can feel on an exercise, a leg extension. So I'm doing this first, just to fully shorten the quad. This is the only movement really where we can actually fully shorten the quad. So that's why this is first. On the other leg session, I do it later on the session and I do more like metabolic stress kind of work. But this session, we're maximizing the loading potential. So I'm actually going to do the stack today. And I've never done the stack. So we're just going to see how it goes. Hopefully, if I just give it some beans, take my tampon out, I get it moving. Okay. That was a bit too heavy. Oh my god. Should have gone a bit lighter. That felt really heavy. No, well, 6 ain't horrendous. It's not great. Definitely not great. We'll do a back off set next. I just rewatched that set and in my head, I thought that was really uncomfortable. But then I realised I spotted it a little bit. I just felt like on that 6th rep, I was struggling to get the quad fully short, but I did. And I should have gone for another one. I might not have got it, but I'd have definitely got close. Never mind, I was a bit of a bottle job then. I'll have to make up for it on this set. So I'm gonna take 30 kilos off this set, 100 kilo, and then the leg press. I just wanna get 10 with this and I'll be happy. I feel sick already. It's a common occurrence for me whenever I train legs. I always feel like I'm gonna be sick. Yeah, that's made me dizzy. Okay, so next exercise, we've got the leg press. It's time to put the squat shoes on. Again, like I mentioned earlier, like my ankles are pretty tight. My mobility in my ankles isn't great. My dorsiflexion is poor. So just by having a squat shoe on, you've got a firm platform anyway, so you can produce more force, a lot more rigid. But the main thing is the heel's elevated, so I can get my knee over my toes more. That way, I'm gonna bias more quads. I'm gonna do one more set with 5 plates for a warm-up set. So I'm only gonna do 1 rep on this. And that's just to get my nervous system ready for the heavier weight. So my actual working set is gonna be 6 plates and a 5. So the logic behind just doing 1 rep is my legs are already warm, right? So I don't need to warm them up anymore. It's just making sure I'm ready for the heavy weight. That's why I'm just doing a heavier weight for less reps. So what I tend to do with my warm-ups is drop the reps as I go heavier. So I might start off on, say, if I was doing this fresh, let's say I start off on 2 plates, I'd do 10 reps, I'd go to 4, then do like 5, then 5 plates, I'd do 1, and then I'd do my working set. It's about getting that balance where you get ready for the set, but you don't expend too much energy, because we want to save the energy for the set that counts, which is the top set. Okay. So, if you're wondering where you should put your feet on a leg press, I see a leg press as a quad movement, right? Yes, I know we can go higher and wider and hit a bit more glute, a bit more adductor, but I see a leg press as a quad movement. So what I do is not go really low down on the bottom where your heel's elevating. Yes, you're producing more knee flexion and you're gonna bias a lot of quad, but if you're not able to have your whole foot on the pad, you're gonna lose like some force output. So I say to people, go as low as you can on the platform without your heel coming up. The last 1 or 2 reps, yes, your heel might come up slightly, but in my opinion, you don't want your heel coming up from rep 1. I'm gonna grab someone for a spot for this set, but you know what, I'm a little bit nervous, not because of my legs, but when I did this set last week, I went like really dizzy and started seeing stars. I'm like, am I gonna pass out? Yeah, I can't bottle it because I'm filming it for YouTube. I got 7 last time. Yeah, I'd like to get 8. The main aim is like not to throw up or pass out. 3, 2, 1. Okay.
Let's go, Brandon. Come on. Good, let's get it. Come on, man, let's go now. Yes, let's go.
Oh, yeah. So, 2 reps up. So, I'm happy with that in terms of that my execution was good. And obviously I got 2 more reps. However, looking back on the set, I feel like my intensity isn't where it should be. I think looking at that set, there's at least probably 2, maybe even 3 reps left. So even though I think I'm training hard, there's levels to intensity. So I should have took that step further. So what I'm gonna do is instead of like doing a back off set with like 5 3/4, I'm only gonna take 10 kilos off. because I think I should be able to get 10 now with just 6 plates. But you know, it just shows you that I was really out of breath then, quite uncomfortable. But looking back on the set, there's a couple there at least, so I need to pull my finger out and train a bit harder. Oh yeah. Okay, next movement, we are doing a hip hinge. So for the last few months, I've been unsure on what hip hinge to do. And the reason being, I mentioned this a couple of videos ago about my pec minor being tight. So the issue I've got is my shoulders are actually pulled forward a little bit like this. So, you know, I spoke to Mark that does my deep tissue work, and he said that because my shoulders pulled forward more, doing a Romanian deadlift, all that's doing with that constant tension is pulling my shoulders further forward, which isn't great. But then, you know, you think, okay, just do a normal conventional deadlift and then do a dead stop. The problem is, with that, because how much I'll lift, like it's gonna drive so much fatigue, and after that leg press, I just feel like I can't get enough out of it. So with hip hinges, I like to think I'm relatively strong. So I used to, you know, pull, 5 plates for like 4 reps or something. So I couldn't even imagine doing, even if it was 200 kilos for reps, after doing that. So doing the dumbbell Romanian deadlift, although it's not great for my shoulders, I'm just doing 1 set, I'm just adding a pause at the bottom of the rep and just really just staying focused on staying really tight. You know, it's, like I said, I'm not actually 100% sure what is the best thing to do, but we're gonna go with this today, just the 1 set, see how it feels. Obviously dumbbells is a little bit lighter than a barbell. Obviously still 60 kilo dumbbells, so it's still pretty heavy, but obviously not as bad as like 200. So yeah, we'll see. Leaving a couple of reps in reserve there, probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 I'd imagine. But, you know, I don't want to take that the whole way till failure after not doing any kind of hip hinge for a while, because I'll literally wake up tomorrow and have like so much inflammation around my lower back. In terms of if I was able to keep tightness, I definitely felt it like at the top of the rep. I was locking out, then trying to just like pull my scapula back a bit more, get that chest up a bit more. I find it so difficult to actually keep tight. And not just like with this, but like all my pressing, my pulling, like not being able to fully retract, so annoying. So I've been doing stretching literally every day, getting a lacrosse ball into that pec minor. I'm becoming a bit of a mobility freak, but that's just because it's really affecting my training. Even when things aren't ideal, you know, you've still got to come in and get it done. You know what I mean? Like, obviously there's a time when you should rest, but you know, if you just wake up and you feel like you've got a bit of a cold or you've got a little bit of a niggle, like, there's normally ways around it. I do actually train abs now, and you know what, something I've neglected for years, but I just want them to be a bit more prominent. So just doing them twice a week, 2 or 3 sets on the end of a leg session seems to be working all right. To be honest, with my rope cable crunch, well, this like V-bar attachment cable crunch, I use that just because with a rope I feel like it's easier to lose your grip. So I use this in terms of like execution with it. You should think about keeping your hips still and just letting the abs do the work by actually flexing the spine. To be honest, this isn't really a movement I'm that great at. Sometimes, like some muscle groups I struggle to connect with, like my side delts, I'm not great with them. And ab crunch is like, not like really bad at it, but I could definitely be better. Like when I do a chest press, I can do a warm up with like 30% of my working weight and I can just feel blood in my chest already. So yeah, something needs to improve. Oh, mate, got a cramp in my calf. To be fair, after saying that, I actually felt that set like quite a lot. I think that's down to just pretty much slowing it down. So if you ever struggle to feel a muscle working, just spend time in the lengthen range, spend time in the shorten range, take all the momentum out of it. I guarantee you, even if you don't completely, get out of it what you want, it's going to be a lot better than what you were doing. So that's legs B rotation done. So not like loads of exercises, because my frequency of legs is training them twice a week, every Monday and every Friday. So if I did loads of exercises today, I wouldn't recover for Monday. Like even the work I did today, it's a lot to recover from for Monday, but I am recovering, I am progressing my lifts, so I just need to keep things as they are. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm just gonna keep these raw style of videos coming, film my workouts, film my 4 days of eating, and hopefully people enjoy watching them, and the channel starts picking up a bit. So thank you for watching anyway. If you made it this far, please drop the video a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video.